sanctuary in heaven. The true tabernacle. So that would be in our fundamental beliefs number 24. There is a sanctuary in heaven. The true tabernacle that the Lord set up and not humans. In it, Christ ministers on our behalf, making available to believers the benefits of His atoning sacrifice, offered once for all on the cross. I think we will do this one bit by bit because this is heavy. So we'll be looking at fundamental beliefs number 24, that there is a sanctuary in heaven. So that's our fundamental principle. Eventually, the principles becomes belief, but that's after 1985. But originally, we had 27 fundamental principles. Yeah, it is called principles back then. But during the Toronto General Conference in Canada, I think in Toronto, 1985, they changed it into a belief. So the difference between the two, principles means cannot be changed. Beliefs means can be changed. All right. All right. Okay. So, but let's not deal with it because that's a bit controversial to discuss. All right. Let's deal with this one. There is a sanctuary in heaven, the true tabernacle that the Lord set up, and not humans. Now, what does that mean? The tabernacle here on earth, it was divided into the families of the 12 tribes. This tribe will carry the poles. This tribe will carry the curtains. This tribe will carry the whatever equipment in the temple. Every tribe has to carry something. But the Levites, they had only one furniture to carry. You know what they will carry? The Levites, you know what furniture they will carry? The Ark of the Covenant. That's all that they carry. They will carry nothing. No ropes, no poles, nothing. Everything will be carried by the different tribes. Only the Levites will carry the Ark of the Covenant. It's exclusive to the Levites. And the Levites were the elite. In the Philippines, you have an elite army. How do you call it? Scout Rangers. When the Scout Ranger will go, you name it, it's done. They will not, they don't know what is retreat, the Scout Ranger. So the Levites were the elite. They were the fighters, they were the defenders, they were the offenders, whatever. This group of people are top of the range. So there is a sanctuary in heaven, the true tabernacle that the Lord set up and not humans. How big was the sanctuary here on earth? A small one. I don't have the correct measurement, but easy to set up. It's like a tent. Easy to set up, easy to remove. But in heaven, how big is the temple in heaven? The same size as on earth? Because what's on earth is the shadow or the pattern in heaven. So when you make a pattern, it's different. So if I make up, Uncle Joe used to be a tailor. He can make good stitched pants. But his pattern must be exactly to the cloth. Because if the pattern is small and you create a big pants, it doesn't make sense. Okay? Is the pattern exactly what's original? You can't make a pattern. I work with Leonard on making fence. When we make our fence, he created a pattern. So every time we cut, it's always the same length. Isn't it? That's a pattern. So is the sanctuary in heaven the same as that? Is that the pattern in heaven, that the sanctuary is exactly what is the sanctuary here on earth? Pattern? Okay, so before you answer, there is a disclaimer. there is a disclaimer that the pattern used by Paul in the book of Hebrews, the word pattern there, what did I say? I'm lost. Okay. The disclaimer. So, the pattern that Paul in the book of Hebrews is not the pattern of the size, but is the pattern of the ministry. The work. The pattern is the work, not the size, not the structure, not the size. The pattern is the ministry. Because there is no lamb in heaven. There is no courtyard in heaven. The whole sanctuary, maybe we can show, if you get a chance, the whole sanctuary building has three parts. Courtyard, then you got the holy place, and then the most holy place. If that is the pattern of heaven and on earth, we are in trouble. If this is the pattern in heaven, we are in trouble because there's no courtyard in heaven. The sinner will not bring the lamb to the priest in heaven. Go here on earth. Yeah? So it is not the size or the size of the building which is the pattern. The pattern is the work. The activity. I mean, the work of Jesus is the pattern. Alright? The work of Jesus is the pattern. Nothing to do with the size. You know why? How big is the most holy place in heaven? Do you think the most holy place this size will fit thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of angels? Do you think it will fit here? So again, I'm just put a disclaimer. It's up to you to give the impression or to the Holy Spirit to inspire you. What is pattern? So the word pattern that Paul is using is the work of Christ, not the size. And it's very consistent in the Bible. Now, many theologians would say that the Garden of Eden is the most holy place. Now, how big was the Garden of Eden? Because as soon as Adam and Eve was out, there were angels at the gate with a flaming sword so that you cannot get in. So, angel with a flaming sword, you can only see them in the most holy place. You can't see any angel with a flaming sword in the courtyard. None of those. So there are many variables that we cannot use the pattern to be applied as the actual building. So let's get back to our fundamental belief. Sorry, but thank you. Let's go here. There is a sanctuary in heaven. And it says the true tabernacle that the Lord set up and not humans. Because the pattern is not the structure or the actual. It is the work of Jesus in the ministry there in heaven as the pattern. So what Jesus is doing. In it, Christ ministers on our behalf. There you are. In it, so in the sanctuary, from the courtyard to the holy place to the most holy place. We'll start from there, because then we're going to discuss with the angels. Okay, so in it, Christ ministers on our behalf, making available to believers the benefits of his atoning sacrifice offered once for all on the cross. Okay, let's unpack this one. We'll just stop up to here. We'll discuss the next time, because this is very long. The benefits of Jesus' atoning sacrifice. Why did Jesus shed his blood on the cross? Why Jesus shed his blood on the cross? Why blood? If you have to pay sin, why blood? Because when a person dies, you don't need the blood. It's the breath. Remember God said that the day you eat, you will surely die? You only to remove the breathing, not the blood. I have not seen people died without blood. First is you have to stop breathing. But your blood is still in your system, isn't it? Because the flesh is blood. You know, our flesh is blood. So when you eat the beef steak, when you eat the beef steak, you're actually eating the blood. Because the blood is in the muscle, in the flesh. That's why it had to be plant-based. Because blood is life. But when you die, the blood is still in your system. On the day you stop breathing, for example, no, I can't hold that long, but maybe 2 minutes I can hold my breathing. But yeah, the oxygenated blood. But the blood is still there. The only thing is no more breathing. You stop breathing. And that's death. Jesus did not die because he's run out of blood. He just stopped breathing. My Father, into your hands I commit my blood. No. I commit my spirit, my breathing. Is it true? Now we just had to see so that when we look at the atoning sacrifice of Jesus' blood, so the blood of Jesus is an atonement. His blood is atonement. Atone means to cover. So his blood cover. Now, it says that in the ministry of the sanctuary, in the holy place, and from the courtyard to the holy place, to the most holy place, to the three faces, it is the ministry of Jesus, his blood. Now, his blood at the courtyard, because that's where he died, Golgotha, Calvary. His blood in the holy place, because the priest will sprinkle the blood against the curtain, not in the curtain, but on the ground opposite the curtain. In the most holy place, again, Jesus will bring his own blood. So there is blood from the courtyard to the holy place to the most holy place. But in the most holy place, he will bring blood only once a year, not every day. Only once a year he will bring blood. That's why it says once and for all. So here it says offered once and for all. So when Jesus was resurrected, he bring his own blood from the courtyard, from Calvary, to the holy place at his ascension on the day of Pentecost. That's Acts chapter 2. So Acts chapter 2, when Jesus ascended to heaven, he is at the holy place. He brings his blood. Now, 1844, which is the Day of Atonement, Jesus again once a year brings his own blood to the Day of Atonement in the most holy place. That's why he died once and for all the. And then Jesus would say, all right, okay, Aaron, all the discussion is finished, all the items have been taken. Any more questions for me? Aaron said, no more, Lord, all done. All right, now you can go out. As soon as Aaron will go out from the most holy place, he will take the 2 goats. That's the very last to be done. Now, if Jesus will come out from the holy place, or from the most holy place in heaven, if that goat is Jesus, then he will die again, the same as the pattern of the Old Testament. That doesn't make sense. That's why it says once and for all. Because the goat in the Day of Atonement is Jesus at Calvary. The lamb that was slaughtered at the altar of incense is Jesus as Mount Calvary. That's why die once for all. Jesus will not die again. Because this is the argument with the evangelicals. This is they're giving it to us that now you are called. You are not following the Bible. Because after the Day of Atonement, see, if you Seventh Adventists believe that Jesus, the Day of Atonement is 1844, when he comes out, we have to slaughter the goats that belongs to the Lord. And if that goat is Jesus, will he gonna die again? We don't believe that. Because our belief is that Jesus died on the cross once and for all. The daily and the yearly. You get it? Now, any question before I because sometimes I'm too fast. You want me to repeat? You want me to? So you get the, you can visualize in the sanctuary. Very important, the sanctuary. Very important, because this is what Jesus said. Even the very elect will be deceived. You will not be deceived with the Sunday worship. Can you? No. They tell me, Randy, the day is Sunday. Nah. Prove me from the Bible. We can't deceive. You will not be deceived by saying, oh, the pork now is clean because Jesus died for it. No, we cannot be deceived by that. We cannot be deceived by that. The deception would be the work of Jesus in the sanctuary. That's the deception. In fact, Jesus said in Matthew 24, if you read the prophet Daniel, remember there's a close parenthesis, there's an additional, is this there, Matthew 24:14. It says that whosoever read the book of Daniel, please let the reader understand. The book of Daniel. And so, even then, Jesus had said that the deception would be on the sanctuary. Now, the reason I go to the sanctuary, because we are now on the Day of Atonement. Jesus now is in the most holy place. This is the deception. Very, very cunning deception. And if you are not aware of the deception, Jesus said, even the very elect will be deceived. Let's go to Isaiah 14. Isaiah 14, verses 12 to 14. This is the deception that we have to be very careful and be very vigilant, because Satan and his demons will create anything possibly can. Anything. Maybe just a simple offense. You get offended. I'm not going to that church again. These people are useless. They're a bunch of useless people. I'm not going there because I don't understand what they're talking about there. They say they're friendly, but actually they're not. No, that's not the case. Let's go. So, Isaiah chapter 14, verses 12 to 14. Now, it says in my I don't know what version this is, Remnant Bible Study with Ellen G. White's comments. Sorry about the 11. It's not, yeah, okay. This is his Bible. How you are fallen from heaven, 14:12. O Lucifer, son of the morning. All right, so Lucifer is not a morning star. Only son of the morning. He's not a star. Not a superstar, not even a mega star. I don't know what this guy. So he's a son of the morning. How you are cut down to the ground, you are weak in the nations. For you have said in your heart, I will ascend into heavens, I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will also sit on the mount of the congregation on the farthest side of the north. What is this congregation? Do you know? For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my thrones above the stars of God. You know the stars of God? Angels. Okay? Stars of God, angels. Stars in heaven, in the Bible is, especially here, it refers to the angels. I will sit also upon the mount of the... So Satan is sitting here in the church. Satan here is sitting in the church. Sometimes, you know, when especially during Bible studies, especially when the subject is really, really interesting, there's always something comes up. I don't know, Brother Robin. That's sometimes when the Bible says it's really to the intent, sometimes the mobile phone will just ring, or sometimes there's just something interruptions that can happen. I have observed that when really in the very core of the Bible study, there's always something will happen. And sometimes you just stand up and get some water to drink, or you just go to sit on the toilet quickly and come back. You observe, especially in the Bible study, when it goes to the crack of the matter, when it's really the core of the study, there's something on. Because Satan, it says the Bible, I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation. There's a church in heaven. And the church here is the extension of the church in heaven. There is a church in heaven. The angels were singing, glory, glory, glory. Worthy, worthy, worthy is the Lamb. They were singing, praising God. That congregation in heaven is the most powerful and yet willing is the word. So powerful, this congregation in heaven, and yet willing to swap position with you and for me and me. That congregation, they're so jealous on us that they are willing even to swap position, because they like to experience what we have. But unfortunately, only us has that privilege, because our will is tested, not as them. But when Lucifer in heaven said, God is not the right person, this angel said, no, you're wrong, God is right. But a few say, yes, I think we have to question God. Why is this? Why is this happening? Why this is happening? Okay, so you and I will be like the Most High God. Yet you shall be brought down to Sheol, to the lowest depths of the pit. Those who see you will gaze at you and consider you, saying, is this the man who made the earth tremble? I don't know, I'm not sure in your version. Who shook the kingdoms? Who made the earth? In verse 17, who made the world as a wilderness and destroyed its cities? Who did not open the house of his prisoners? And verse 18, all the kings of the earth, of the nations, all of them, sleep in glory, everyone in his own house. But you are cast out of your grave like an abominable branch, like the garment of those who are slain, thrust through with a sword, who go down to the stones of the pit like a corpse, trodden underfoot. Now, this word is repeated in Revelation 19. But this is the situation. Satan now sitting in the most holy place, his work is to protect and to cover, but he made a rebellion. And in his rebellion, Ezekiel 28, I think Ezekiel 28, we have to go to Ezekiel 28. Will be the same description here in Ezekiel 28. Ezekiel 28 from verses 11 all the way to verse 15. But there is a word I am looking. The word kings. In the book, in this chapter, who are the kings? I don't like this version. This version is, so Ezekiel 28 from 11, I think in verse 18, 17. Yes, 17. Yeah, in 17. Remember the congregation? Remember the congregation? Now, let's go here in 17. So in Isaiah, it was called congregation. I think it's 28:17. Ezekiel 28:17. Yes. What does it say? Thine heart was lifted up because of thy beauty. Thou hast corrupted thy wisdom by reason of thy brightness. I will cast thee to the ground. Look at this verse. I will lay thee before kings. Is that they may behold you? Question. Who are the kings? Huh? Correct. We are the kings. Because Jesus is the King of kings. So we are the king. Are we going to judge Lucifer? Okay. Are we going to judge the demons? How can you judge the demons if you are with the demons? Okay? I cannot judge someone I love. You can't. Either you have to kick out the demons and leave me alone. Isn't it? I mean, if you judge the demons, what do the demons say? The demons say, what the? You love me for many years of your life and now you judge me. Yeah? Demon possessed? You can't. That's why there is a change of heart. We have to change our heart. You have to change. You cannot live with the demons and judge them at the end of the day. You just couldn't. Because say here, 17, I will lay thee. Jesus will outline. I will lay before. I will tell the kings. How would Jesus tell us the story of iniquity? In a panoramic view, by details. This is how Lucifer started. This is how many. It's like a audio visual presentation, and not one tittle, not one comma, not one dot. that will be omitted in that investigation. It's not an investigative judgment, but it is an executive judgment. Do you believe that? I think we believe that in our church. We are Seventh-day Adventists. That's our belief. In heaven, we will judge Satan and the demons. I will lay thee. Jesus was very particular. You, Satan, I will lay you. I'll put you before the kings, before this congregation. And they will behold, you will see. We will behold. That's why sin will come no more for the second time. Now, how did angels come into action? How did angels become part of this exercise? What was Satan's role in the beginning? He was an angel. He was an angel. But not just any normal angel. He was an angel with a very special tasks. He was an angel that sits on the mountain of God to cover God's 10 Commandments. All angels were created by God of the same raw material. All angels were the same, created by the same raw material. It's not coming from the dusts. Because when Lucifer was created, he was made out of very, very precious stones. Human beings from the dust. But Satan is not from the dust. I think in verse 13, a bit down, that's verse 13, one down a bit, verse 13. Those are the elements of Satan and the angel. Huh? That's right. Precious stones. Yeah, precious stones. Look at that. Sardius, topaz, diamond, beryl, onyx, jasper, sapphire, emerald, carbuncle, and gold. That's all of those stones are very expensive ones. In Africa, abundance of it. And because there's so many, they become poor. Yeah, if you go Africa, so rich, that precious stones. But look at the people, they're starving to death. We don't have that in Philippines. I think in Philippines only gold. But in Africa, man, that African countries, you name it, diamond, beryl, everything is there. That's how special that place. Yeah, we'll be Africans when we get back to heaven. From heaven, when we get down, we'll do that. I will do my own mining there. Run this mining, no entry. It's okay, Marja already got place there. But I'll get there. I will tell him off. Get out of here. But that's how beautiful is Lucifer, made out of very precious stones. We made out of dust. But with one advantage. I think it's in Luke chapter 3. Let's go. I think Luke chapter 3. And then I'll close from here. Is that Luke chapter 3, the genealogy? Or Luke chapter 2? Where is the genealogy? Chapter 3. Chapter 3. Chapter 3, verse 38. So no matter how precious the stone Lucifer was made out of, he's still jealous. Because look at this. Verse 38. Which was the son of Enos, which was the son of Seth, which was the son of Adam, which was the son of hallelujah. Yeah? I'm from the dust, but look at me. You see that? We should be proud and excited. Seventh Adventists. We know the Bible. Nothing can exchange. Even if you give me $1 million, you can have it. I'm not going to swap with my position. Isn't it? Why? I don't know what kind of a brain a human being had to swap from that position, Son of God. Anyway, let's open for discussion. Any question?